Hey guys, I've been meaning to do this for a while, but and I know I'm copying Karsten Runquist by doing this, but here's everything I watched in May.
Are you ready to party?
Oh, I'm ready to party. Are you ready to party? I'm ready to party. Are you ready to party, SpongeBob?
No, I'm ready to party. Are you ready to party, Mr. Krabs?
I'm ready to party. Are you ready to party, SpongeBob?
No, I'm ready to party. Are you ready to party, Patrick?
I'm ready to party. Are you ready to party, Mr. Krabs? I'm ready to party.
So I started off the month by watching Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story, and to be honest, it is probably the best of this genre, and that's the musical biopic genre. It's a parody, and it's John C. Reilly, and he perfectly covers every single cliche in these movies, and it has such a good soundtrack for a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. Then I watched the short film Save Ralph, which is a stop-motion animation about a rabbit who's a tester for a cosmetic company. But my favorite thing about it is that Ralph is voiced by Taika Waititi, the director of Thor Ragnarok and the voice of Korg, and so obviously it was a more entertaining watch because of him, but overall this tackles and brings attention to a really, really complex issue of animal cruelty, so yeah. Then I watched another short film called Two Distant Strangers, and though it's about an important issue, sometimes it just seemed a little awkward and off-color. You can read more about how one of the writers of College Humor claims she got copied on this and how it was her idea. Overall, yeah, it's entertaining, and it's a really challenging task and important issue, but there are plenty of movies that do the same thing, just better. You could disagree with me, but I honestly think the Groundhog Day trope is a little overused at this point. After that, I watched Easy A with Emma Stone, and honestly, it was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. Literally every time Stanley Tucci was in one of the scenes, I couldn't stop laughing because the dynamic that they set up with the family was just adorable. And, some of the references and jokes were obviously a little bit outdated, but I think the casting and the storyline kind of made up for it and definitely held up. This was one of the last senior year teen movies that I watched before graduating, and it just looked like it was really fun to make, and they all had a lot of fun. Then I watched Project X, and from Todd Phillips, the director of The Hangover and Joker, comes Project X, about 3 dudes throwing the craziest party ever. Kind of look at this movie like it's Superbad, but like Superbad on crack, but also not really as funny as Superbad. It's basically these 3 friends throwing the most insane party ever. I mean, the insanity of it is part of its appeal. I mean, who doesn't want to see a whole suburban block catch on fire, you know? Honestly, that's enough for me. It was a really entertaining movie, and the first-person documentary vibe that it had was, it made it a lot more fun and personal. Then, my dad and I sat down to watch 13 Days, which is about the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now look, I gave it a pretty good rating because it's objectively a very entertaining and very well-done movie, but the biggest gripe I have with this movie is the accents of all things. Though I think they did pretty much everything else in this movie flawlessly and had me on my toes in suspense for something that I know the ending of already, the accents just took me out of it the entire time. Kevin Costner's character ended up sounding more like John F. Kennedy than Kennedy did himself, and he put on the very distinctly Kennedy voice. Bobby Kennedy's actor sounded like he was doing a Matthew McConaughey impression the entire time. It's a dumb reason to hate on the movie, I know, but even a film as solid as this one has some glaring issues. In that same day, my dad and I watched Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. I think it's safe to say that this was peak Eddie Murphy. This, Coming to America, and Trading Places all came out in this time period as he was first becoming a big star. I really thought it was going to be completely a comedy, and though it was definitely meant to be one, the dramatic parts hit just as well as the comedic ones. Overall, it was definitely an underrated gem, and a lot more people should know about it. I finished up the month by watching my last high school teen movie, a couple of days after graduation. I'd go so far as to say that Big Time Adolescence was better than King of Staten Island. Maybe I'm just a sucker for John Cryer and can't think of a coming-of-age story that isn't good that he's in. Or maybe I just love the scene where Pete Davidson's character's carrying Griffin Gluck's character, but I don't want to spoil it right now. I just love this movie so much. I think that the writing is amazing, and it's definitely a movie with its own voice. I believe wholeheartedly that this and King of Staten Island are starting to solidify Pete Davidson as an actual actor. Overall, Big Time Adolescence is a completely hysterical and at the same time completely depressing coming-of-age story. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just about everything I watched in May. So let me know if you guys want to see more, and yeah, I'll catch y'all later. On to some more movies.